You're listening to tensions spike in Chicago, Portland as Trump faces legal challenges over troop use. A news story written by Holly Bailey and Pravina Somasundaram and read by an AI-generated voice. Chicago and Portland braced for more confrontations between protesters and federal agents Sunday, as legal battles escalate between state elected officials and the Trump administration over its sweeping immigration agenda and deployments of federal agents and troops to Democratic-led cities. Multiple arrests were made at protests Saturday outside of Chicago, and armed agents shot and injured a female motorist, sparking further protests as President Donald Trump authorized the use of 300 National Guard troops against the Democratic Illinois governor's wishes. In Portland, protests continued outside an immigration and customs enforcement facility after a federal judge late Saturday blocked the administration from sending Oregon's National Guard troops into that city. California Governor Gavin Newsom, Democrat, said Sunday that despite that ruling, the president is sending 300 of his state's National Guard troops to Oregon immediately, prompting the state to plan to sue to block the action. "This is a breathtaking abuse of the law and power," Newsom said in a statement. The Trump administration is unapologetically attacking the rule of law itself and putting into action their dangerous words, ignoring court orders and treating judges, even those appointed by the president himself, as political opponents. In Portland, U.S. District Judge Karen J. Immergut on Saturday night sided with Democrats who run the state government and argued the troops are unnecessary. In her ruling, Immergut, a Trump appointee who was confirmed to the bench in 2019, wrote that she expected a trial court to agree that the president exceeded his constitutional authority in mobilizing federal troops for local work and likely violated the 10th Amendment. Immergut said Trump had not met the standard to call up troops and pointed to substantial evidence that the protests at the Portland ICE facility were not significantly violent or disruptive in the days, or even weeks, leading up to the president's directive. The Trump administration has appealed the restraining order. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller accused the judge of legal insurrection. The developments marked a significant escalation as the Trump administration presses ahead with its agenda, despite objections from elected officials and court challenges. Tensions spiked Saturday in Chicago when U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents fired defensive shots at a female motorist after officers' vehicles were allegedly rammed and boxed in by several drivers in a southwest Chicago neighborhood, according to Department of Homeland Security spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin. McLaughlin characterized the incident as an ambush carried out by domestic terrorists, who also threw gas, rocks, and bottles at law enforcement. Officials said that the female motorist, later identified by federal officials as Marimar Martinez, was allegedly armed with a semi-automatic weapon. She was shot and wounded but drove away from the scene and was later treated at a hospital and again into FBI custody. Martinez and another man, Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz, were charged Sunday with using their vehicles to assault, impede, and interfere with the work of federal agents in Chicago, according to a Justice Department statement. The Washington Post could not immediately verify the sequence of events. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, Democrat, told CNN's State of the Union on Sunday that his office had also not been able to verify the account and was seeking more information. He accused the Trump administration of misrepresenting what led up to a deadly shooting of a Chicago man by federal immigration officers last month and questioned the department's account. "They won't let us access the facts. They are just putting out their propaganda," Pritzker said. Pritzker said that Trump, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi L. Noem, and others were misrepresenting Chicago and other cities as urban war zones in need of rescue, arguing that it is federal agents who are sowing chaos. "They are the ones that are making it a war zone," Pritzker said. "They want mayhem on the ground. They want to create the war zone so that they can send in even more troops." On Fox and Friends on Sunday, Noem contended that some protesters in Chicago were planning attacks. "Our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them," Noem said, without citing specifics. Separately, 6 people were arrested on Saturday outside an ICE facility in the village of Broadview, Illinois, just west of Chicago, according to the Illinois State Police. Miller ascribed the clashes in Oregon as an organized terrorist attack on the federal government and its officers, and complained that local and state officials have refused to aid ICE officers facing relentless terrorist assault and threats to life. The deployment of troops is an absolute necessity to defend our personnel, our laws, our government, public order, and the republic itself, Miller wrote on X. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, not an Oregon judge, Miller, an architect of Trump's immigration strategy, wrote. Trump on Sunday told reporters, "Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. Turn on your television, look at your television. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives." Last week, in an address in Quantico, Virginia, before generals and admirals summoned from around the world, Trump defended using armed forces to police American cities, decrying what he said was the enemy within, and saying that he should be allowed to use military force domestically. Maeve Reston contributed to this report.